He's pretty amazing. He continues to amaze me.
We're so thankful that he's here and that he gets the second chance at life.
My mom said, I love you because you're my darling.
Their inspiring stories brought us joy, tears, and reflection.
He's going to be greatly missed. What he went through really puts everything into perspective.
From super fans in the sports world to resilient youth rising above adversity.
You kind of have to live with it, focus on what else you can do.
That was a really nice step.
People with individual struggles, all connected in their ability to channel pain into purpose.
To know what their mom did for others while she was going through cancer will be something they'll always treasure.
Now, as the year comes to a close, a reminder that what tears some apart can also tie us together.
The items just kept coming and the phone calls kept coming saying, how can we help?
And that human goodness is all around us if we choose to see it.
I think there's way more good than bad in this world.
If you have breath in your lungs and you have a heart beating in your chest, then there's always hope.
Hello and thanks for joining us. This is Stories from the Heart. For the next 30 minutes, we hope to inspire you and make you smile as we look back at the people that have made a mark on our community over the last 12 months. Now, perhaps there's no better example than Ben Stelter. The young boy had all 10 fingers wrapped around the heart of the hockey world and became a household name during the Oilers' regular season and the playoffs. The 6-year-old was truly a good luck charm and a community hero. Here is Dan Grummett with a look back at his unforgettable time with the team.
He wasn't the first kid to stand on the blue line alongside his favorite players, but Ben Stelter's time as an honorary Edmonton Oiler lasted long after the national anthem finished. The little boy, who was diagnosed with an aggressive form of brain cancer at age 4, quickly captured the hearts of hockey fans and became a regular at home games.
Chanting your name out there.
Fans even chanted his name.
Look at that. They're all cheering for you.
The team embraced him too, inviting him to practice, into the dressing room, and once awarding him the game MVP helmet. It didn't hurt he was a good luck charm. The Oilers would go the rest of the regular season undefeated with Ben in the building.
He's been a real inspiration for us, and you can tell, we've been rallying around him.
But Ben's infectious smile, laugh, and attitude masked what he was going through. Thought he did, until he no longer could. Ben's father posted the news on Twitter, writing, "Our hearts are left with a Ben-sized hole in them, and life will never be the same without you. We are absolutely crushed."
He was an amazing little guy who lit up every single room he was in, certainly lit up our room.
He's going to be greatly missed. What he went through really puts everything into perspective.
You guys win the game. Let's get Kitsap.
So much of sports is about rivalries. Ben loved the Oilers, but everyone cheered for Ben, a little boy who made a big impact in the hockey world with limited ice time.
Good try, Oilers. You'll get you next year.
Dan Grummett, Global News, Edmonton.
We recently checked in with Ben's father, Mike, who says life has been incredibly difficult without Ben, but they're focused on keeping his memory alive, putting their love and energy into the creation of the Ben Stelter Fund. It will raise money for brain cancer research, help families cover the cost of medical equipment, and provide other children with cool experiences similar to those given to Ben. The family also told us they continue to be in regular contact with the Oilers and the players. Well, Edmonton sports community has another super fan this year, not in the arena stands, but on the sidelines of a basketball court. A teenager living with Down syndrome who suddenly got called up one day to play. Sarah Comadina shows us how 2 high schools came together to make his dream come true.
You hear all the fans chanting?
Yeah, the fans were yelling, cover the nuns.
Yeah. Osmond Lowe is known as the morale guy. As the team manager for the Jasper Place High School Rebels, he ensures the players remain optimistic.
I truly love them a lot.
The 17-year-old who lives with Down syndrome is content in his role, but his coach knows he wants to help on the court as much as he helps off of it.
He's been pretty adamant, like, you guys need me on the court. Like, I can help us score.
An opening came when Osmond's buddy Cooper Tidball got an injury and couldn't play in Wednesday's game. So the team told Osmond he would play.
He was so excited. He started doing push-ups. He's getting ready for the game. Yeah, it was every day he'd call me and say, make sure to bring the uniform.
My dad said, he'd do it, like, make sure you play hard. And my mom said, I love you because you're my darling.
The Rebels went up against the Holy Trinity Trojans. Near the end of the game, wearing Cooper's number 9, Osmond stepped on.
The energy level in the gym just went to whole nother decibel. And, you know, they all started, the gym just started chanting number 9.
The game ended and both Edmonton teams cleared the benches and huddled around Osmond. The moment so powerful, Osmond fell to his knees.
And then the whole crowd just started chanting MVP, which is really cool because for us and our team, that's like Osmond's thing. Every game he highlights an MVP.
MVP, MVP.
Yeah.
A few days later, Osmond is still buzzing, letting the glory sink in.
Our next story is about another amazing teenager and his love of baseball. The budding umpire is in high demand, and he's making the game better for everyone. John Sexsmith reintroduces us to Declan Lord.
2 balls, 2 strikes, play!
Sherwood Park minor baseball's in full swing. The Mosquito division's on the diamond today.
Hey, let's go!
Declan Lord is right at home behind the plate.
Foul!
He's a 13-year-old umpire who's already calling the game like a big leaguer.
Ball.
Declan's in complete command of the game while confined to a wheelchair.
I've made just about every game of his to watch him progress, and every time I see him, I go, like, I just shake my head. How does that happen?
Here's how.
Confidence and understanding of the game.
Declan was diagnosed with spinal cancer when he was 10.5 months old. Fortunately, Declan was declared cancer-free at the age of 2. Unfortunately, he became a mild paraplegic, and he's been forced to deal with dozens of other curveballs.
We've had so many issues because of all the spinal cord stuff.
Declan has undergone over 100 operations. He's been admitted to hospital nearly 200 times, but he continues to hit those problems out of the park.
You kind of have to live with it and focus on what else you can do.
Declan got into umpiring, like his grandpa, who's also his mentor.
All right.
Alrighty, good luck.
Game, my friend.
Yeah.
He's understanding the game, he's seeing the game, and he's doing the game, and he's doing a really good job.
And when it comes to determination, positivity, knowledge of the rules, and positioning, Declan covers all the bases.
It's really fun. I love doing it.
He continues to amaze me.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
John Sexsmith, Global Sports.
A young man from Spruce Grove is defying the odds in his own way. Levi Blackburn wasn't supposed to survive, but he did. And now he's on a mission to walk again. Sarah Ryan details his remarkable recovery.
Levi Blackburn had just graduated high school. A world of possibilities lay ahead. But that world was flipped upside down, literally, in a devastating crash on Alberta's main highway in February 2021.
They hit black ice, and then when they hit the dry pavement, the vehicle lost control and rolled 5 times through the ditch. The full weight of the vehicle crunched on his head.
His injuries so severe, stars flew him to hospital, where the prognosis from doctors was grim. Levi was expected to die that night.
That's just nothing that a parent wants to ever hear. This is the worst moment of our lives.
But Levi didn't die, as friends and family rallied in the hospital parking lot, praying for a miracle. He fought. Still, the doctors were worried.
Because of the severity of his injuries, they said that he was highly likely to just be in a persistent vegetative state for the rest of his life.
But the Blackburns weren't about to give up. After 3 months, he was discharged from hospital. And little by little, Levi made progress.
Bend the right leg, good. Stick your bum out. And now chest forward, He's come a long way to the point where he is definitely starting to move a lot more on his own, which is really exciting.
Now he comes to the Ryu Recovery Center twice a week, where he's all smiles.
It's basically relearning and reteaching his muscles how to move, because unfortunately, during his injury, his muscles and his brain got a little disconnected.
They're helping you walk. Yeah. We're so thankful that he's here and that he gets the second chance at life, because really that's what it is.
That was a really nice step, Levi.
The Blackburns believe Levi will continue to defy the odds, one step at a time.
If you're finding yourself in a situation where you feel like it's hopeless and over, if you have breath in your lungs and you have a heart beating in your chest, then there's always hope.
Sarah Ryan, Global News.
Such a beautiful reminder. A major setback is also what drove another Edmontonian to reach for the stars. We'll share Donna Richardson's inspiring journey to the Beijing Olympics after this short break. Well, behind every Olympic athlete is a unique journey and a team of people who helped get them there. For a young Edmonton woman, the journey to the Beijing Winter Games began with a deep love of sport after a devastating loss. At 22 years old, Dawn Richardson Wilson has pushed her way to the top.
A little bit of nerves, but mostly excitement.
The Edmonton athlete is making her Olympic debut in bobsleigh, ready to show off her grit on the icy track.
Excited to perform, excited to just to have my hard work over the 4 years pay off.
This wasn't a lifelong dream. The athlete was just in search of something new. So when a trusted coach suggested bobsleigh in 2018, she jumped in with both feet.
I had no idea what I was getting myself into. It's like a spontaneous movement.
The bobsledder rose to the challenge, as she had many times before. In 2001, she and her family came to Canada as refugees. Just a few years later, she lost her mother suddenly, then her father.
At first, she's a very quiet kid.
Dawn's older brother and sister-in-law Cecilia took her in. She was just 6 years old.
It's a lot of difference, a lot of adjustment for her, and she took it slowly.
At school, the shy student found solace in sports. She belonged and she had a purpose.
Sports creates another family for athletes and kids, and it allows them to express the feelings in a positive way.
And this is Dawn in her grade 5-6 class.
Karen Robinson taught the rising star at St. Lucie Elementary and continues to follow her inspiring journey today.
We're just so happy and excited that our Dawn is in the Olympics. It's quite a feat. It's quite an achievement.
Her story of resilience has been studied in the classroom for months, and now the entire school is cheering her on from afar.
Go, Dawn, go! Go, Dawn, go! Go, Dawn, go! Woo!
I know that she worked really hard on herself, and I bet she wants to make everyone proud.
Mission accomplished, according to her new followers and those who have been there all along.
Everything what she do and what she is right now, that's her. It's her everything in that. We are just her backup.
Richardson and her teammate finished 8th in the two-women bobsled competition. Well, while some are eyeing an Olympic medal, others want a world record. Last winter, an Edmonton man went to extreme measures to secure his place in the record books. Nicole Stilger was there for the attempt.
For David Eliuk, crossing the finish line for the Edmonton Hypothermic Half Marathon hits a little different.
It hurt. It feels great to be done. I had an amazing team behind me.
The reason Eliuk looks a bit top-heavy is because he's wearing about 100 shirts, all in an effort to run his way into the Guinness Book of World Records.
The old record was 76 shirts in a half marathon. It was a 3-year-old record.
The unique feat wasn't without its challenges. About 2 kilometers into the race, his left arm started to tingle.
I had a lot of issues with constriction on my arms in the first lap, and the crew was able to really help me get through that.
Eliuk trained for about 5 months, adding 12 shirts every 2 weeks to get used to the weight and arm movement restriction.
If this makes, running down the neighborhood wearing 100 t-shirts, 90 t-shirts, makes somebody's smile and makes somebody's day better and laugh, then, I've done my little bit.
Shedding the layers post-run, a literal weight off his shoulders.
10.
90 more to go.
In the cheering section, Eliak's family.
I think it's really cool that he's trying to do something fun during the pandemic. I'm very proud of him.
I love inspiring my kids and for them to be curious about these things and trying to achieve amazing things.
And while it's not yet official, Eliak is letting this win sink in, open to attempting other records down the road. Nicole Stilger, Global News.
Eliak says someone beat the shirt record before his attempt could be verified. The new number to beat is now 111, so Eliak will try again in February with 120 shirts. She passed away in 2019 at the age of 38. 3 years later, Amy Elaine's husband and children are making sure her memory and her legacy live on. Amy Elaine was a loving mother and a passionate runner. In 2019, she lost her battle with lung cancer, even though she had never smoked. Since her passing, her loved ones have made it their mission to fulfill her wishes and help others through painful times. Elaine shows us how.
Amy Elaine was an ultra-marathon runner and fitness instructor when she was diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer. During her months of treatments, she and her husband Phil coped by putting their thoughts on paper.
At the end of the day, we would sit in our living room and talk about the day, and then we just kind of retreat into our corners and write. It was kind of our way of therapy.
Amy died in 2019 at age 38. 3 years later, Phil has published their memoirs in a book, Run on Amy.
This basically details the love of a mother for her children and my perspective on how to cope with watching my wife go through this.
Phil feels it's important to let others know what they might expect in their cancer journey and what it's like to try to support a loved one. The book is just one way Amy has turned her devastating illness into a chance to help others. The mother of 2 started the Lunges for Lungs campaign to raise awareness of lung cancer symptoms among people who have never smoked.
2, 3.
She also inspired Amy's House, a place where out-of-town cancer patients and their families can stay during treatment in Edmonton.
To not have the support you need is stressful, or where you have to get a hotel or whatever, but this is all free because of all the great support we have, and it just takes that burden away that so many families have to experience.
Book sales and 2 upcoming events will all raise much-needed funds for Amy's House. And though their story has a heartbreaking ending, Phil knows his wife would be delighted to know her family is making a difference.
It was something that Amy really wanted, and it makes me very happy to see so many people being taken care of. Yeah.
Sulingo, Global News.
Now, since that story first aired, Amy's husband says his children are doing remarkably well. They have great friends, they're both top students, and they're forging ahead like champions with their mom in their hearts every day. The family has since created an annual run for Amy's House, and they're hoping to open a second home next year to help even more families. For the people of Ukraine, 2022 has been marked by major upheaval. But the atrocities of war galvanized the world in a way we haven't seen in decades. A look at the overwhelming support that came out of Alberta next. We cannot look back on this year without mentioning the war in Ukraine. The invasion, now entering its 11th month, has sent ripple effects around the world, including Alberta. Our province has long-standing ties to Ukraine, with a large population of Ukrainian descent. And while the conflict is a continent away, it has compelled our community here to act.
Pulled all of our emotions a lot harder than I think it would be for somebody who didn't have those ties. So it was really important to be able to go and help and support in whatever way we could.
Just 1 month after the war broke out, Alberta businessman Dale Wishawan and his daughter flew to Poland, donating their time at a humanitarian aid center. Then in June, Edmontonians worked together with the Polish government to fill an entire plane with diapers, dried goods, personal care items, and medical supplies. As the war stretched on, there were also donation drives for Ukrainian newcomers, and an entire store was set up to help families rebuild their lives here in Edmonton.
The items just kept coming and the phone calls kept coming saying, how can we help?
It's not about clothes, it's not about toiletries, shampoos and everything. Like, I really miss my home. And here I have a chance to help my people, to help other Ukrainians.
We also saw one group of firefighters making 2 trips to the war zone to donate 89 tons of safety equipment to first responders. For one Edmonton artist, the war helped reignite a passion for preserving Ukrainian culture. Dan Grummett shows us her colorful creations.
They all start with a blank canvas.
Yes, just an egg, but no, not raw. They're all emptied.
The end product is always different.
I'm not creating to put on a show. I'm creating because it's meaningful.
Emma Plum has been making pisanki, or Ukrainian Easter eggs, almost her entire life. Taught by her mom as a child, what was a holiday family tradition began to mean something more.
I also learned that it potentially is a dying art, and then it was a bit of a mission to just preserve it going forward.
That mission has now gained even more importance.
If I was committed before, I am 100 times more committed now.
Her latest piece pays homage to the Ukrainian flag and one of the country's top commodities. Plum says the response to this egg has been different in a positive way.
They're second or third or fourth generation Ukrainian Canadians, and just expressing their desire to hold those traditions that they have really, really close to them.
Plum estimates she creates more than 100 eggs every year. Though each one is different, they're all meant to symbolize the same thing: a connection to and preservation of Ukrainian culture that, if handled properly, can last forever. Dan Grummett, Global News.
Thank you so much for spending the last 30 minutes with us. We hope you enjoyed these stories from the heart. Goodbye.